Hello, everybody. My name is Bill Frankel, and I'm with Be Well Solutions, and we present Way of Life. And today is our weekly check-in, and we look forward to having you watch this and join us. And hopefully everyone is following along and tracking all of their activities and doing everything they need to do to make these new behaviors habits, which is really what we're going to be talking about today. Give me 1 second. Didn't work. Okay. So welcome. Here's our week 7 materials, and we're going to be focused on, and I know a lot of our attention has been focused on you moving and exercising and on looking at what you're eating and the foods that you're putting into your body. And today we're going to be focusing some energy and some time on stress. And we really, this week's materials is on recognizing stress in your life and doing the things that we can do to reduce our stress, reduce our anxiety. And so much of our overall well-being is related to certainly what we're putting into our body and certainly how much we're moving our body, but the stress that we put our body and our mind under as well. And the whole goal of this week is to recognize our stress levels, kind of step outside of ourselves and look at our overall stress and look at trying to reduce our stress. And we're going to do that today through a quick exercise. And the challenge this week will be on deep breathing. And we'll talk about why in a moment. Here is the handout, which you can see in the week 7 challenge. You can see in the bottom right is taking a 1-minute break during the day to practice deep breathing. And again, I'll go in with you about why deep breathing is so important and really what it does. As every week, you're going to track your food, you're going to track your physical activity, you're going to track your weight using the food and activity tracker, you're going to complete the weekly challenge this week based on recognition of stress and that deep breath. And for more accountability, you can complete the Assess Your Stress Activity worksheet. Yes, stress is a part of life, and we would like everyone to look at this handout and realize that although stress is a part of life, those of us that learn skills and tools for coping with it, taking control of it, and recognizing when stress impacts them, and then actually having an action plan, something that they can do to combat stress and deal with it more effectively. And the more we do that, it becomes a part of who we are. So we're going to practice deep breathing every day. And again, we'll talk about why. You'll assess your stress level as part of the activity and see how am I doing on a day-to-day level and what is my overall stress levels like. So just some quick review from the first 6 weeks. Let's remember why we're doing this and why we're doing this. For many of you, you all have your personal goal. You all have your personal reason of why you entered and decided to embark upon this journey. And everyone has a different why, but we have to remember our why. It's important. I want to feel better. I want to reduce my risk of heart disease. I want to fit into a certain pair of pants or a certain outfit. I want to feel better about myself. I want to spend more quality time with the people that I love. And it doesn't matter what your why is to us. What matters is what your why is to you. Understand that calories, units of energy, and develop a daily calorie budget and making sure you know your calorie budget. Planning is the key, whether it means planning your meals, anticipating and dealing and identifying triggers, which is, again, something we'll talk about today in terms of taking that deep cleansing breath and managing our eating behavior. When we're triggered and we turn to food as a way to cope and a way to deal with stress, especially what we're talking about this week. What do you do when you're triggered to make bad choices? I always want to remind people the goal here is not to be perfect. And as you've gone through this journey, your goal isn't to be an ultra marathon running vegan, unless that's what you want to be. Your goal is to make good choices most of the time and see mistakes even as part of the process towards your growth and development, and just making sure that you're moving and attaining and reaching your goal. So today's topic is really about creating new habits and then looking at what's getting in the way of me reaching my goal. What obstacles, what adversity am I facing? And when I face that adversity, because obstacles are a part of our lives, what are we going to do when adversity rises? Way of life encourages new habits. So it's not something that you want to just forget after this 12-week program. This is something that you want to do for the rest of your life. You want this to become what I like to call the new normal, my new normal. Following a calorie budget for the rest of your life, produce picks and making fruits and vegetables just a part of who you are and at almost every meal, and making movement, both aerobic movement, cardio, and anaerobic strength training, a part of who you are for as long as you live. And the goal is to feel out of sorts if you didn't track your calories, if you didn't pick fruits and vegetables, if you didn't work out. You want to feel in sorts when you're doing those things. You want them to be a part of who you are. You want to feel strange. Hey, I didn't work out today. I don't feel like myself. We don't want you to feel that, wow, I feel strange. I worked out. Wow, I feel strange. I ate vegetables. You want to feel strange if you're not doing those things. And that's really what making a new behavior a habit is all about. This is a part of who you are. We face obstacles. Many of us can't resist our favorite foods, even though we know they're full of sometimes empty calories. So the calories that we're even taking in, let's take a piece of cake or something, these aren't even calories that I can use. These aren't helpful calories. These are useless calories that aren't giving me any bang for our buck. And sometimes we can't resist our favorite foods. I eat when I'm stressed. Many people fall into that category. They're having a bad day and they turn to comfort. They turn to bad choices. They're feeling sad. They're feeling bored. They eat out of boredom. They're full, but there's still food on their plate, and they're talking to their friends, or they're watching a show, and next thing you know, they look at their plate and it's empty, and they're like, I don't even remember eating the rest of that. They just were bored or stressed or sad or preoccupied. I don't have time to prepare healthy meals, and many people feel that way. But when we take the time and think about, again, what's my goal? What do I want for myself? What's my long-term vision for who I am? I don't like to exercise as a common theme that people present. You have to stop and reframe how you're going to see yourself. And you don't want to see yourself as, I don't like exercise. You want to be able to say, I move every day. That's a part of who I am. It's reframing who you are and who you can be. I have the power to resist my favorite foods. Maybe not all the time. It's not about never having the things that you love again. It's about portion control, and it's about making sure you're taking in the foods that you know are good for you, not about what you're getting rid of from your diet, but am I taking in the things I need to be powerful and be strong and be healthy? Stopping when you're stressed and noticing when you're stressed, noticing when you're sad, noticing when you're bored, and saying, I know these are triggers for me. So I'm going to make a good choice and do something good for myself. I'm going to go for a walk instead of eat something that I'm going to just regret and say to myself, why did I eat that? We should always know why we ate and why we made the choices that we did. Not having time, it's about either making healthy meals that don't take a long time, or choosing and picking and planning the time to make healthy meals and making those good choices, and then feeling good that you did that. Developing new habits takes time, but everyone is capable of change. That's one of my big messages for us. If you can do something for 90 days, and it's no surprise that this program is 90 days, is 3 months. It takes about 90 days for new behaviors to become a habit. If you can do something for 90 days, you'll do it for the rest of your life. You have to be able to tell yourself that. You have to be able to notice that about yourself. If I can do something for 90 days most of the time, that doesn't mean perfection. It means most of the time, it'll become a part of who I am. This is true. If you can do something for 3 months, it'll become a part of who you are. Everyone who makes a bad choice has an opportunity the next day to make a good choice. And everyone fails some of the time. But if you can do well most of the time, you can do well for the rest of your life. And there's some common sense strategies to overcome obstacles. And it comes with stopping and recognizing that an obstacle is there. So keep on tracking. Remember, you can only go back 3 days for tracking purposes. So do it every day. If you miss a day, go back and track. It's okay that you miss. Don't think, oh, I'll never get the hang of this. I'll never do it. I'll never follow through. Stop and notice that you're doing that. And then get back on track. That balance between accountability and allowing yourself to not be perfect. We all make mistakes. We all are on a journey to this final goal, this final destination. And the journey isn't a straight line. The journey has ups and downs, but as long as you're moving towards that ultimate goal, you're on the right track. Don't be hard on yourself. When we're hard on ourselves, we make bad choices. We don't treat ourselves well. Treat yourself well, forgive yourself, and make good choices moving forward, and then be proud of yourself for making those good choices. I appreciate all the work that you're doing. You should appreciate all the work that you're doing. Again, your activity this week is a deep cleansing breath. A deep cleansing breath activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It's your brake pedal. It allows us to slow things down. When we feel threatened, when we feel out of sorts, cortisol is released in our body. And when we can identify that, I'm feeling triggered, and take a deep cleansing breath, now we can think. Now is when we have the opportunity to say, what do I want to put in my body? Am I going to choose that healthy choice? Am I going to choose an unhealthy choice? But that whole word is choose. I've made a conscious decision. I've made the decision to choose something good for me, versus we often eat things and don't even think about it. Or we sit on the couch instead of moving, and we go and we scroll on our phones instead of taking the steps, and instead of exercising. Our cleansing breath allows us to stop, think, and take control. And that's what we want to do. We want to take control of our choices and take control of our lives. And you're all capable of change. So thank you for coming. Again, any questions, any comments, any help that you need. If anything here struck a chord with you, don't be afraid to reach out and contact us to share a great story, share a time when you overcame an obstacle. And if you can do all of these things a little bit better each time, it'll become a part of who you are. So any questions or help, wayoflife@bewellsolutions.com. Thank you for joining, and stick with your journey. Take care.